Hey guys, and welcome to Stock Talk. Today's May 7th at 5:03 p.m. Eastern Time. Before we get started, I just want to thank everyone for all of your support. I know that you guys are taking time, your own time, which is really valuable, to watch these videos and trying to learn some patterns and see the stocks that I see value in, as well as the patterns that I don't really see value in. So I hope that as this channel grows, this channel would not be possible without you guys watching it, just learning from it, talking about it, commenting, subscribing. So thank you everyone, if you're just watching this video, for making this happen. And this is from the bottom of my heart, telling you guys thank you so much. So let's keep it going. So as always, let's talk about SPY, which tracks the S&P 500 on the 180-day chart. Looking at SPY, we've talked about this lower high pattern, as we have discussed in every video. This lower high pattern, we draw this peak to peak, so to a possible peak. And at the same time, when we zoom in on the current trend, we do see a resistance at around 268. So let's zoom in a little further. You guys can see that this was a resistance. This was a resistance due to a gap down area, and then we found support at around 261.40. Why was this a support? Well, this was a support because of the gap up area on this day. So we've been talking about the trend, and the trend was the horizontal movement between the support and the resistance. So we called out a couple of days ago, I think this was last Friday, that this was a possible reversal pattern. So this was actually last Thursday, the reversal candle, and actually formed very nicely on the 1-year chart. And on Friday, we had a massive surge up. Now today, what did we see? Well, we actually saw a retest of the 268. You guys can see that today, looking at the 1-minute chart, we hit exactly 268 before we started coming down, and this is where we're ending. So once again, I feel like if you guys were in this position or in any positions right now, this is the time to be a little cautious. It's time to be cautious because we're nearing the area when the risk is getting really high and the reward is getting very slim. What do I mean by that? So I mean, SPY, there's a good chance that it could do a U-turn here. And you guys can see that, we hit the resistance today at 268 before coming down. Is 268 a magical number that we made up? No, it's not a magical number because we identified this resistance almost several days already. So this is the time where you can think about start taking profits in case we start coming down like this. But we also talked about should SPY and the markets do continue its bullish action tomorrow, we do see a chance of hitting this circle. The circle area represents the long-term bearish pattern identified by this lower high. You guys can see that the resistance of the long-term resistance is around 271. So if we do get to 271, that's the time to sell the shares that trade with the market and start shorting. Even if the market is nearing the peak and consolidating, it's a good time to short, because should it start pushing up, your losses will be quick. But should it come down, which the pattern tells us that we are coming down, we should be coming down soon, that's the time where we have the greatest potential to make more money by short selling. You guys can look at the volume. Look how low the volume today. We have very little participants in the market. That tells us a story because we're once again at the peak. Look at this day, right? As we're nearing the peak, look at the volume. As we're nearing the peak, look at the volume once again. So just be a little careful. Should you take a bullish stance right now? Not right now, right? So let's take a look at a couple of other TVIX, which tracks volatility. So here's TVIX on the 180-day chart. We talked about a support at $6.76, and we said that if the markets do manage to push higher, TVIX can break the support easier because markets tend to be a little more bullish over time. So TVIX would generally move lower. Today, we did see a move downward, but not as big as we initially expected. 676, TVIX held at 669. So we closed at 669, pretty much right at the support, which tells us that, you know, people are thinking that the markets will still come down, which is why TVIX hasn't come down significantly given the bullish action today with the markets. So we do have a lot of tickers to go through that you guys called out, and we will go through each one of them. Aside from the ones that I think you guys talked about today, because I still have to go back to the comments and then write them down on my sheet of paper. But let's take a look at commodities really quick, starting with 4/CL, which is crude oil futures. So crude oil futures, we talked about this yesterday on the 180-day chart, and such that we talked about, actually we drew in these boxes, you see. I was waiting for some consolidation pattern before we hit a rise up. Well, crude oil now has a support at 67.41. It had a resistance which it broke through around 69.36. Now we're coming down, and we're going to reconfirm this as the new support. Right, guys? So what does that mean, right? This means that, once again, crude oil is continuing its bullish streak, as we have discussed in the past few videos, past 3 weeks. Crude oil is continuing its bullish streak, and we should be looking into investing into which ticker? The ticker called GUSH, because should this become a new support, we can still expect more higher prices for GUSH. So looking at GUSH, I believe we hit a pretty high level today. Right. Look at what happened, right? This was the previous resistance around 33.50. We broke through it only to have this massive reversal candle come back down. So a couple things to keep in mind is, on the 1-year chart, this obviously looks not that great, right? You guys can see that this is a long tail to the upside, which means there's a probable reversal coming down. Doesn't mean that there will be a reversal coming down. As a matter of fact, I still think crude oil is still bullish. But one thing to keep in mind is, as we're coming down, we're trying to reconfirm the previous resistance as the new support. So this is something to watch for as tomorrow progresses. If we can confirm this as the support, 33.50, that's a great time to take a GUSH position. Where is the new resistance? Well, the markets told us that the new resistance, should that become a new support, is around 36.18. This is the resistance, short-term resistance. So there it is, right? This is the margin for profit right now. You guys can imagine moving from the support here to the resistance here. That was like around 8%. What about now? Support here to resistance here, around 7%. The market is trying to establish, should we see this play out, another horizontal pattern for GUSH. What does that mean? That just means that we have great buying opportunities to come for GUSH as we move forward. Remember, we talked about drip yesterday? We talked about drip yesterday because we said that we've been making 3-year lows for looking at drip on the 3-year, right? 3-year lows. So why should we get into drip? There's not much reason to get into drip right now. These boxes, once again, represent breakdown of major supports. You guys can look at the 1-year chart. I zoom in for you guys, that this was a major support. We broke it and it kept going down. We have a major support here. It kept going down. Major support here. We broke it. It kept going down. Once again, here's the square again, right? This was a major support at this area, and now we're going down again. So it's not too surprising that 735 was today's low. Again, if you guys are trying to take a drip position, of course you guys can do anything you want, but it's just not advisable, as it's a downtrending ETF. It's downtrending on the near term, it's downtrending on the long term. So unless it's hard to identify where to buy at a bottom, because you don't know where the bottom is, especially when we're making new lows on the 3 years. So just be a little cautious as you guys, if you guys do go into drip. GUSH is the better play, especially if you're a beginner or intermediate trader, because GUSH is trending up. So even if you don't get in at the optimal position for GUSH, let's say you got in, let's just say 35.50, there's still a good chance that GUSH will bounce up and retest 36.40, which was today's high. So the risk isn't that high, whereas DRIP, if you're a beginner intermediate trader, you might find yourself losing money quite quickly. Looking at /NG, which tracks natural gas, let's look at the 180-day chart for this one. 180-day chart, we talked about this natural gas coming down, and note that we did have a spike up today for natural gas. You guys can see this spike up, but at the same time, what kind of candle did we form, right? This is a pretty definitive reversal candle. So just be a little careful, because natural gas inventories do come on Thursday. So if this does start trending down, again, the support is around 2.665. Natural gas went up today. You guys only went up 1.9%. So once again, this could be a potential good buy for DGAZ should we see this play out. But one thing to note for natural gas is, look at this, right? It has been making higher lows. The question now is, I'm going to actually remove this line right now, because actually I'm going to keep this line, but the question is, are we going to come down below this line, or are we going to trend up again? That's actually a pretty good question. So this is why I'm not taking a position on UGAZ or DGAZ, just because, let's take a look at DGAZ, right? So you guys can see that DGAZ is the inverse of natural gas, or a /NG. So it's been making lower highs, right? So should this become another lower high, that's one reason not to go into DGAZ. Because we're actually unsure of the direction between DGAZ and UGAZ, I would not take a position right now. I wouldn't force the issue, right? Even though DGAZ were at a good buying point, I wouldn't force the issue, because DGAZ has been making lower highs, and I don't generally, we're near the peak, right? So we don't want to go into that. /GC talks about gold. In gold, we have been talking about this over and over again. So interestingly enough, JDST, which is the inverse of gold, went up 1.7% today, whereas /GC was pretty much even for the most part. We talked about a support at 1311 on gold futures, right? 1311, 1312, and we can see that we're on the uptrend. This means that JNUG is once again a potentially good play. Even though JDST is going down, because we're making this upward pattern, this again is happening at a support. I'm more inclined to believe that we're going to continue the uptrend, at least for now, rather than declining. So here's JNUG on the 180-day chart. Look at this, right? Even though we came down, we're still over the 20 EMA. There could be still another leg up to push to its previous resistance around 1620. So should we see /GC move up, we should see JNUG continue to push up. Is this a good buying point? This might be a good buying point if you do see that reversal. I think this is a good chance to take, because if you guys buy in now, set your stop loss 1.5% lower or 1.7% lower, it's not too bad. Whereas your potential for gain, should it go up 6, 7, 8%, right? That's definitely worth it in my book. So that's it for the commodities, guys. I want to revisit one stock before we get into your tickers. And yeah, thank you guys for calling out all your tickers. It was really nice to see all the patterns that you got. Even if it's downtrending, I feel like as we explain it, expose it to more people, you guys are able to analyze it yourself as well. And this is just a learning process. It's for everyone, not only for advanced traders, for beginner traders as well. So here's Square on the 180-day chart, and this is the support, right, at 45.47. We took note that when Square came down, it was due to earnings. The last time it came down due to earnings. But once again, we've seen a surge back up to its resistance area around $52. Did we reach $52 today? We didn't. I don't think we hit $52 today. Right, we hit 51.82. But once again, what does that say for Square? It says that Square is still pretty bullish right now. It's pretty bullish. It might come down back to the 20 EMA. Once again, we're going to see what happens as it comes down to 20 EMA. But I do see Square, as the markets move up, of course, if the markets move up, Square has the potential to continue moving higher, even breaking this resistance. Remember, I am still in a Square position for my TD Ameritrade account. I did sell my Square position last Friday when it was, I think, 49.44, which is I still made like $2.50 per share, but ironically, Square kept going up, but good thing I'm still in it a little bit, right, guys? So yeah, this is a pretty nice uptrend position. So ask yourself, should you guys go into a position right now if you guys wanted to invest in it? Well, the answer is no, right? The answer is no, because we're at the peak of the previous resistance. Once we break over that peak, that's the best time to go into Square. Not right now when there's a potential for it to come down, especially as markets are nearing the resistance area. I want to show you guys on the 3-year chart. On the 3-year chart, it looks a little better for Square right now. Definitely, it looks a little better. Remember, we talked about these two candles, where these two candles are kind of forming a reversal trend. But look at these two candles now, right? For now, it looks like these two candles are counteracting this red candle, and we've been holding over the 20 MA. Now Square looks more promising. It looks like it has a potential to pull higher to $55, right? So things change as we look through trends. So, all right. I think you guys want to talk about Bitcoin, and I do have Bitcoin on here on /XBT, which tracks the Bitcoin futures. We talked about Bitcoin. We never talked about Bitcoin. So you guys were talking about Bitcoin and how it was bullish, right? You guys were talking about how Bitcoin was a little bullish nowadays. Now, note that Bitcoin has been on a steady downtrend. And yes, it's been climbing, right? And you guys can see that it's been trying to hold where? Over the blue line. This blue line is the 50 SMA. So you can see that came down, bounced up, came down, bounced up, and it actually made a little higher. Now it came down. Once again, for Bitcoin, I think it's okay if you guys are doing Bitcoin to play this trend until Bitcoin hits around $9,821. But until then, I think that's when you want to sell and wait to see if we can pull any higher than this previous peak. I like we're making higher highs every single time, but just take note that we have been on a downtrend, and now we just started to climb just a little bit. And you guys can see that. What are we kind of making? We're making this flatter peak, which generally means, you know, we're nearing the high. So that's why I'm telling you guys, I would only take the chance up to the 9,800 area and no higher, because that's when the risk gets really great. All right, you guys called out a lot of tickers. I think the one that was really interesting, you guys, was NVCN. All right, so NVCN, I think you guys talked about this because of a potential buyout or news catalyst. So here's 2 reasons why I would not invest in this stock. The first one is it's a penny stock. It's a penny stock, and that means it can be very easily manipulated. I never trade penny stocks, as a matter of fact. And then the second reason is I never buy on rumor. Or on rumor/news or other people's opinions, because that is the key fundamental to trading. We're looking at fundamental technical analysis. We're not going by rumors or even by news, right? Necessarily. News only, I think, is a small percentage of my trading habits. And so this is not something I would look into, especially when it's been downtrending, right? With earnings coming up. There's various reasons not to go into this one. So yeah, that's NVCN. SOXS. This one is the semiconductor. Yeah, I think we talked about this one, right? So is that on my list? Oh, I have SOXL. Okay, the inverse. Yeah, so this is a semiconductor. You guys can see that it's currently on a downtrend. So I think the one, if you were to get into something, it would be SOXL. Right now, since it's coming down, it's on the downtrend, let's wait until it finds a support. So if you guys take a look at this, right, we might be at a support. If you guys just do this, should we see it start coming back up tomorrow, this might be a good time to go into SOXS. Where would your buy point be? Ask yourself, where would your buy point be if I gave you this chart, and where would your sell point be? Okay, so your buy point would probably be around here, right? And your sell point stop loss would be around 2.5% lower, because we are at a slanted line support that's going up. So you guys could take a chance right here if you guys bought in at 11.98. All right, good. LABD, I think this is the inverse of LABU. Right, so LABD, you guys can see that. I think what's the volume of it? I think the volume's not bad. Yeah, once again, look at this, right? We're holding a horizontal pattern right now. This, again, is possibly a good buying point. Similar to the previous ETF we just looked at. This is the support, right, guys? Around 33.45. So here's the support. Oh, please, 0%. I am a perfectionist on these graphs. Okay, I'll draw these in later because I just don't want to take. But yeah, I want these lines to be so yeah. The support is around 33.25, and again, you can take a buy right here, and set your stop loss 1.5 lower. Set your gains to around 7%. I would agree with that trade. That is a pretty decent trade, risk to reward ratio to go off of. Right, this is a consolidation pattern. I like it. Good call out. I think I don't know if you guys called it out yesterday or today. Sorry. AJRD. Okay, so here's AJRD. Right, so this is very interesting, actually. We're on a downtrend, so we're not going to go into this one, right? Looks like, what is this? Earnings came out. Wow, there's a huge move downwards. Yeah, we're not going to this one right now. You know, we might have gone into when there was an uptrend pattern. But you guys can see that massive drop, consolidation, massive drop, consolidation, massive drop. This is almost a bear flag pattern. I mean, you could take a chance and say that it's going to go up a little bit, but we don't want to take chances. We want to base off of our trading habits, based off of technical analysis and charts, not based off of, oh, this is what we hope that it will happen. This is what we think it will happen. Let's try not to go into that kind of mindset. Last one we're looking at is Facebook. Wow. Yeah. We talked about Facebook on the potential. Look, we had a support at around 149. And you know, this is where we talked about this, right? We had a support around this area. And when it came down, Facebook earnings propagated all the way back up. And now we're nearing the previous high. So Facebook definitely has the potential, as markets keep pulling up, if the markets do, to around 184.50, possibly even higher to 190 area, right? But it's just, again, because we're so high up, like, you know, 4%, 3%. There are a couple of other stocks or tickers that we called out earlier today that looks, you know, that might be a little better in terms of the percentage gain than going into Facebook, just because Facebook has been climbing so much. If we do start breaking these resistance areas and it starts trending up, we can revisit Facebook. You know, this is a very nice trend. I agree. This is a very nice trend. It's just, if I hover my mouse over here, we're getting to the midpoint, right? You guys can see that this is the midpoint area. There's still a little potential to go for Facebook, but what's there really afterwards? So, all right, that's all of my analysis for today. I thank everyone for commenting about your tickers, giving me comments about how I do my technical analysis. I hope that it benefits most of you, if not everybody, because this is my goal for doing a YouTube channel, and just to provide these information to everyone so that you guys know what to look out for, whichever ticker that you guys pick. So yeah, keep submitting these tickers, and I will see you guys tomorrow, Tuesday, for another stock/market analysis. Thank you everyone for watching as always, and I will see you tomorrow.